they young coming
Okay.
out, oh, be like, "All right, let me make sure you know what you know, and you just ain't been using AI to get to where you are." So,
Yeah.
um, so I'll
It's
say
early where you are as well. Hey, thank you for making the time.
mhm. Oh, yeah, yeah, this first thing in the morning, so, I had to wake up and move around a little bit just to, get active.
Well, Gerald, if we could start, please, if you could just give us a snapshot of what you do today.
Right. So currently I am doing automation install, which is like more of the pharmaceutical industry, dealing with the machines that test blood analyzers and things of that nature. So still high travel, and doing service calls and installation on these machines across the nation. Um I love this job. It hits home because you know recently had some family issues and kind of got real into the healthcare industry and kind of understanding some of the backgrounds of those kind of things and just the understanding what makes that industry just kind of go and evolve and how important these tests and making sure these doctors have accurate and correct results is so key to them be doing their job. So it's a pleasure to be able to be on the backside of that and kind of helping power the hospital and the medical field.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's an honourable job what you do, and it helps many people. So thank you for it, Gerald. And can you give us a bit more detail a day for you in this role?
From a day to day, all right. So from a day to day, every Monday I'm waking up, hitting the road to some beautiful city in America. That could be random as
Yes.
all get out. Who knows what city it's going to be in? Monday morning,
Okay.
I'm waking up, going to a location. Once I'm getting on site, we're actually working with the contractors to get the machines inside of the building, the movers and stuff like that. Then we're uncrating stuff and we're getting stuff out of packages and stuff like that. That's usually a day one for me. And then after that, it's more
Mhm.
so actually putting it in place and working with the various, whether it's plumbing, electricians, and the lab managers to make sure we actually put stuff in the right position or whatnot like that. Then after that, it's some more priority type stuff where we're actually working on the machine, putting it together. And then after that, we're doing regulatory type stuff with making sure that all the results is coming in the way they're supposed to, so we can turn the machine over to the client. And
Nice. And was it always the plan to enter this field?
so I think post college, I didn't know what I wanted to do as far as engineering went. I just know I think my initial
Me
thing was
neither.
robotics.
Yeah.
My initial thing was robotics, and I did a lot of robotics early on in my career. So that led me to a
Yeah,
company,
yeah.
a welding company. Um, and it's crazy how I end up with that role because that was I remember it was a job fair and a career fair. And if you ever been through a career fair process, you're on your feet for two
Mhm.
days, to, a day, 2 days, and you're just going around talking to people, giving your resume out, and you're going through all this stuff. And
Mhm.
eventually you get tired of giving the same spiel over and over and over and over again. And I remember it was one lady, cute lady. I'm on the elevator about to go to my hotel room. I'm like, I'm done with this. I just want a cute girl to go out to dinner with right now. Oh, so I spit my game on the elevator to her. Come to find out she's a recruiter for a company. And she was like, I love your personality. She was like, you should come to my booth tomorrow. so, so I went to her booth
Yes.
I went to her booth, we chopped it up, and it kinda aligned. She was like, Your personality would be great for this more client, probably more like project management engineering. So you're dealing more with the clients and building solutions for 'em and, delivering that way or whatnot. So then she passed me along to a few of the other engineers and kinda up the corporate ladder. Long story short, got the job. Path of doing stuff like that. 'Cause
I
I
see.
like I like being Superman. I like being independent. You're like, okay, hey Gerald, yo, my machine's there. Can you come get me up, man? I need to be back up in like an hour or so. I'll be there. I'll be there in 10 minutes.
Okay.
I got you covered.
Yeah.
So that would kind of transition my whole career into more of the travel and the field service side of stuff.
So to go back a little bit, Gerald, you've touched on it already briefly. I just wanted to ask you what your earlier career looked like when you first set off. I know you had the careers fest and the elevator, almost a moment there. But what was your early career like, and what were the moments that changed direction for you?
Day to day, at first that wasn't national travel. That was only state travel. So you're going, driving anywhere from 15 to 2 hours a day. A lot of windshield time and whatnot. So that's one part of it. The other part was dealing with various manufacturing companies. And since I was in Oklahoma, a lot of it was oil and gas. Dealing with that aspect of
Hmm.
things. And those day to days is really going in, doing surveys of various manufacturing plants, and then finding a way to where our products align with their goals. And how do we, once we find a product that align with their goals, how do we swap them over, get them comfortable to our product line, get them comfortable to our processes, whatnot, and how can we make their life more efficient? And by making their life more efficient, it's like, you know what? We can use y'all products because y'all gonna save us time, or we're gonna save you money, which we know those are key things when it comes to manufacturing. So literally
Hmm.
it was doing surveys and presenting solutions to problems maybe the customer didn't even know they had. Whether it was a big one was training. Was making sure that the clients were trained properly, and they always had a new workflow. If you know one thing about the manufacturing industry, a lot of people are retiring, getting out, and there's no surplus of young kids coming into those pipelines. So a lot of times we work with the schools
Okay.
and stuff, and work with those trade schools to kind of create that pipeline of, oh, these is good guys, they should come into here, and we kind of help facilitate that by just being involved at every level of the industry, from, high school
Hmm.
training all the way up to, the big boy factories. And one of those, you say the key, one of my turning moments was, um, there was a big company out there, one of my probably top 3 companies, that I probably saw once, maybe twice a week because of the volume that they did. And they always called me
Uh-huh.
with a problem. Like, I had a great relationship with the welding engineer, and I had a great relationship with all of the manufacturing engineers and whatnot. And I think sometimes it was just easier to
Hmm.
call me to come deal with it than them having to do it. Plus, they knew I live pretty close, so I can always either stop by there on the way out for the weekday,
Okay.
or on the way in for the
Yeah.
day. So it was no problem to stop by there. And building that relationship with them is just like, oh, this is what I like doing right here. Like coming in, whether it's, you know, whether a
Yeah.
machine went down, and then another thing too is, their production probably tripled while I was there too, and they brought a lot of automation, a lot of robots into the, foil, and when that happened, the more stuff you got there, the more opportunity there is to actually work on stuff. So, helping install those
Yeah.
lines,
Yeah.
and install those projects, I was a big part of that. And as I get it was like, yo, I could do this. This the part of the job I love. Like, and I was like, you know what?
Yeah.
There's jobs where this is all they do. So that was probably one of my turning moments there, when I realized, like, I'd rather do this 24/7, versus, everything else that came with the
Yeah.
thing. Because literally with this job, you're responsible for everything with your company brand name on. So the marketing, the
Mhm.
sales, the customer service, all of that stuff you're involved with, which is no problem, and I did it good. Like I said, I
Mhm.
did it for 7 years. But once I actually got into
Mhm.
those, the deeper I got into the relationship, the one-off relationships, and actually working with the people of doing not just the repairs and installation, and bringing in new projects, and it was always something, a new big thing. I was like, I like the new big thing, and not having to do a lot of the
Yeah.
paperwork and stuff on the backside. So,
Okay. And tell me, in them 7 years, did anything not go to plan that maybe turned out to be a blessing later, or
man, that turned out to be a blessing. later. Say this, and this is a word of advice for any young salesperson or engineer. I think the biggest lesson I learned there is that when things go wrong and things blow up, when people are yelling and arguing and fussing, they're not yelling at you, they're yelling at your logo on your shirt. And to make sure you control
Yes.
your emotions and control what's saying, it's still a level of like, don't take disrespect, but understand that,
Mhm.
the issue is not necessarily at you directly. It's not a personal attack. It's an attack at the situation and it's an attack at the logo on your chest. So, and there's certain things that
Mhm.
you can't control. So therefore you have to understand you sometimes you just gotta be that wall, take it, and then take it up your chain of command to get the issue fixed. I think that's
Yeah.
probably the biggest lesson that turned out to be a blessing because then you take that and you apply it to the rest of your career. So I think that was the lesson. I think that's a lesson that everyone will learn early on in their career. I'm sure everyone had
Yeah, I
that
agree.
moment. Yeah, everybody had that moment, man, because it's gonna be some situations you can't control, and it might be a situation, a delay situation, like something was expected there on Monday and they can't get there till Wednesday. You can't do nothing about that. That's on the
Yeah.
delivery people. There's nothing I can do about that. Like, yeah, if I get in my truck and go get it for you myself, I will. And that's just one of the things you gotta like, you know what? Let me just take it, and it
Yeah.
is what it is. So,
Yeah.
that's probably a lesson I learned early on and kept on going out, and it kind of benefited me all throughout my career.
Yeah, it shows you're a professional,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
definitely.
So.
And how about just in regards to hiring processes? Obviously, I know you've worked for a few companies over your career. Is there anything along all the companies you've joined that a hiring process where you feel that was actually really good and I was able to demonstrate who I was in that process?
As far as interviewing processes, first and foremost, I
The
I
elevator, the elevator.
yeah,
That
yeah,
is the best
exactly,
process
right,
ever.
right. The interview started right
Other
there.
than that
Um, I
one.
think that when it comes to interview processes, man, I've always been a person to where you gotta get to know the person. Like the resume is already there. Like we wouldn't be in the interview process if you didn't have the qualifications. All right. So
Mhm,
that I think my more favorite interviews have always been the more interpersonal conversation. Like just get to know the person. Like, not
mhm,
ask all the you can ask the technical questions just to make sure and confirm that you know what you're supposed to know, but
mm,
it's clearly on the resume that I know robotics, I know automation, so we can talk about, volts and ohms, and we talk about that. I think as I've gotten older, um the interview process now that's a conversation about culture and about fit and actually talking about your day to day is way more
mhm.
important. I think one of my
Yeah.
favorite interview processes I've ever had was a round robin, in-person round robin.
Robin,
It's
right, for
about
the people that don't know what that is, could you explain it, please?
the round robin interview process is like this is I think this was kind of more like the final level. So you already did HR, you already did the technical interview, all that stuff. This is the final, are you a fit for our culture interview? So it was 10 decision makers, including like the president of operations, the head of HR, and a few other people and whatnot. And you're spending 10-15 minutes with each one of those people. And these are the people that be overseeing you, working with it, you will see them at some point in your career.
Mhm.
And you're literally just spending 10-15 minutes with them, each one of them, and they're giving the go ahead or approval of this person. I remember because one of it is crazy because one of the conversations we had, we talked about actual job for maybe like 2 minutes, and then we end up seeing something on I think I saw something on his wall, football thing, and I'm a huge football fan. And for some reason, at the end of the interview, we breaking down football plays on on the wall. Like, so if I come out here in twins right formation, I'm a blitz from the left side. Like, and it was crazy, but it actually give you a chance to just get a feel for the person. Like, okay, I like this
Yeah.
company culture. And I think as I've gotten older and now that I know not only do I have the training to prove I know what I know, I also have the accomplishments and accolades to prove that I know. So now it's about culture and fit. Like now it's all
Yeah.
about that. Um and culture fit and the day-to-day work. So as far as interview
Yeah.
processes, man, I'm definitely more of first of all, I don't like long drawn out ones. The ones where you got
No.
multiple rounds over a couple of months. That no, because I understand the company got to make a right choice and they need to make a quick decision, but also a lot of people out here looking for jobs. If you're in the job market,
And that's the reason for Juice. So we are bringing companies and candidates into a place where the whole hiring process can be done in one slot. So what we aim to do is the clients that we take their interview process, we conduct the interviews like we are here today on a platform like this. Get their interview questions, I will ask you. We do the whole process so we can do it maybe in an hour on a morning. And then you
mhm,
don't have to wait the 6 weeks of scheduling interviews, speaking with the HR, then the
yeah,
technical manager, then so what it will aim you to do is take you right the way through to what you mentioned earlier, the round robin, where it's a cultural last interview because
yeah,
they've already seen your answers to all their questions. So to stop the delay in the hiring process and give both sides their time back so that
yeah.
people can move quickly. But tell me, Gerald, have you been involved in hiring and interviewing other people?
Yeah, so knowing where I stand on being hired, when I've had the opportunity to hire people and bring people on the to and onto various teams that I have, that's what I focus on. I focus on cultural fits. I focus on
Hmm.
um and it also depends on it. Like I said, also, trust me, we ain't saw that resume before you come in, and based upon your experience. If I see some experience up there with some good and reputable companies, then we're gonna go to that. If you're not, then I might have to actually challenge you based upon your age or whatnot. Because these young kids
Yeah.
nowadays, they wild, man. So you gotta, you, you gotta be a little bit more on top of them. Make sure they know all types of ways to rig the system. So you gotta test them a little
Yeah.
bit more if they young coming
Okay.
out. Oh, be like, all right, let me make sure you know what you know, and you just ain't been using AI to get to where you are. So
Yeah.
Oh, so based upon that,
Yeah.
and yeah, so you got to look at the age and the differences there, and whatnot. If they're a little bit younger, then I'm probably gonna put them through a little bit more technical rigor than someone that got some age experience and been around the block a few times. So
Okay, I see.
so it kind of depends based upon the candidate of to where I do that, and I don't want to have multiple conversations with you. I want to have one conversation. I want to go through it. So, give me 20, 30 minutes. Let me make sure you know what you know. And then let me make sure you're a
Mhm.
good cultural fit. And then I'm giving my yay or nay and we moving on.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it, smooth. And was there ever a point you mentioned there about testing people's technical ability? Was there ever a point in your career where you felt a little bit out of your depth?
Example, during interview process that was, I'm not going to say some BS, but an interview process where the company did not do a good job of separating general knowledge from internal knowledge. So I went into this interview process and trust me, the job was something I've done 1,000 times, but they started using acronyms that was like company based.
Mhm.
How every company got their
And they
their
assume
ac-
you
their
knew.
yeah, every company got their acronyms, and he started. And I mind you, he was a project manager. He was in depth, so he started using those in the interview, and it threw me off because I'm trying to break down like, damn, what do you mean by that? Because I don't have your internal acronym, so I don't know
No.
what y'all generally call something and
Mhm.
whatnot. So instead of using just the industrial term, he used that. And my looking back, I should have probably asked for clarity and been like, "Oh, what do you mean by this?" So it threw me off and it made me look like I didn't know what I knew, or whatnot. But I was like, part of it was like, bro, you started using acronyms in an interview that was company, was company related. So that was probably my weirdest interview process. And I was like, I know these PLCs, but every company has different joggers that they
Mhm.
use to describe different components, whatever it may be. Just based upon whoever is at your job and whoever you're working with. So that was probably one of my weirdest interview process. I was just like, man, I did, but it was a blessing though, because
Yeah.
the job that I got instead of that one was right on the money. Yeah,
Something that was a blessing in the long run,
yeah.
so that's good to that's good to hear. I was gonna ask you as well, so I know you mentioned quite a few skills you picked up along the way in your early career. You like to add value to everything
hmm
you do, so you like to work with people's needs. Is there a skill that you think you've
Mm.
accomplished that's mattered most to you?
I think, the skill that has been most beneficial to me in my entire career, whether, professionally, whether hobby-wise, anything, to troubleshooting and being able to break down a big project into mini projects. So taking this big
Mhm.
goal and maybe, this big goal, breaking it down into the process of it. So whatever, let's say, for example, um, you have a problem that it has 10 issues. Being able to identify what those 10 issues are and then be able to actually isolate each one of those issues so you can actually troubleshoot effectively and find out which one of them is actually causing the problem. Um,
Mm.
it's something that comes second nature to me, but I've learned that everyone can't break down a problem
Yeah.
like that. So that is probably the biggest thing because I've is because you can take that and apply it to whether it's troubleshooting, whether it's installation, whether even in sales.
Mm.
I think being able to take the bigger picture, break it down into smaller pictures, and then be able to attack each one of those smaller pictures individually, is definitely the biggest skill that I could use, especially with troubleshooting. Being able to isolate one problem for another, being able to test that one problem, so is this it? Is this yay or nay? Then to the next one, yay or nay. Is this one yay or nay?
Mm.
So knowing where your isolation points are to isolate them, I think that's key. And
Yeah,
that
I
works with
agree. I
whether
think the bigger
technology.
picture can be overwhelming for people.
Yeah,
Sorry, Gerald, there is a slight delay in the call. I didn't mean to speak over you
you
there.
good.
In regards to the actual work you do, so the automation, the robotics, the troubleshooting, if someone wanted to follow in your footsteps, Gerald, where should they start?
Um, man, go to LinkedIn and go to field service engineer. Look up field service engineer and then find a. There's going to be various industries and there's gonna be various travel packages. Pick the
Mhm.
combination that works for you because like
Nice.
I was saying earlier, so right now I got 2 weeks in the city and I'm there. When I was in marine automation and I was dealing with port cities and dealing with water stuff, um, I was you don't know where you're gonna be the next day. So I could be in New Orleans, get a phone call, we need you in Houston tomorrow. I'm on a flight first thing in the morning in Houston type stuff. So you got those type situations. Then you got situations where you just, you're in one city, you're home every night, but you're driving 3, 4 hours. So you got to find I'm a firm believer in finding a job that matches your personal preference, that matches your lifestyle, whatever that may
Mhm.
be. Because also we forgot about the travel situations where people are gone for 3 months at a time. Maybe even contract work where you're going for 6 months and to a year. So I feel like
Mhm.
the first thing is to find an industry um that you can enjoy. And then once you find the industry that you enjoy, find a travel thing that fits to your lifestyle or whatnot. And
Yeah,
I would encourage
nice.
anybody fresh out of college. Take that 6 months in Australia. Take that 6 months in Europe or whatever it may be. Take that six
Yeah.
months. You'll be all right. Trust me. And you'll save
Yeah.
a lot of money because they're gonna pay for your hotel and all that stuff during that time. That money going straight to your pocket.
What would you do differently if you were starting over?
I was starting over. Two lessons
If
I
today
would
was fresh out of the college?
today was fresh out of college. First of all, um,
Yeah.
I am
20-year-old Gerald.
ooh, boy, oh boy. That person is I'm definitely gonna go. I'm definitely that's how I know I'm on the right track. But I would definitely do something similar to what I'm doing now. I would love to. I probably would have
Nice.
did a contract role in a city that I like. And whether that was for a year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever it may be, a contract role and saying that way you're not committed to being there all the way, but you're still getting the experience. You're still everything is getting paid for, and you're still kind of still loving what you're doing. I think that's one thing I would do. My travel would have been I would have started traveling the world first out of college while doing engineering work. That would have off bat, that's what I would've
Okay.
did. Um, the second bit of advice, as soon as your 'cause I'm not sure, over time companies change and sometimes your priorities and your alignment doesn't align up anymore. That's just a part of life. As soon as you feel like that alignment is getting off and this doesn't necessarily serve you anymore, I think, once you put in some time, don't be afraid to move on to the next opportunity. I think that is another thing early on too,
Mhm.
that we because as you especially when you're younger, in your 20s and stuff, you don't know what you don't know going into the industry yet. And as you learn more and more about yourself and you learn more and more
Yeah.
about the industry, as that adjusts your mentality and you're changing, do not be afraid to change situations
Mhm.
that benefit you. Now, like I said, now in 30s, mid 30s, I know off back if a company is a fit off back during the interview process. That is not something I would have
Okay.
known at 21, 22, or anything like that. 21, 22, just hire me. Just hire me. I'm gonna do whatever work you need me to do. That's more the energy. And once you get into it,
Yeah.
you're like, oh, maybe this was not a good choice. And as soon as you just say, oh, this is not a good choice, move on to your next opportunity.
Yeah.
I mean, and I've done everything from, because me in my lifetime now, I've done Fortune 500 companies, I've done startup companies, I've done some of my best experiences working for European companies and kind of understanding the cultural differences between the way American companies run their stuff and the way
Yeah.
European companies run their stuff. And there's a
Mhm.
difference.
Okay, well, Gerald, thank you very much. This was the first time I've done this, so it's a pleasure. And some of the things you've said today, especially in regards to what you've learned, the skills you've carried, yeah, it's a pleasure, man. Thank you for taking the
It
time
was
to
a
speak with
pleasure
me,
talking with you
and
too,
have a
man.
nice day. I wish you well, and we'll speak again soon.
I definitely, man. I look forward to it.
All right.